what you're saying.
Let's
Get out my
dive
business.
into it.
Okay.
Our first story is basically about the ninja audits. Do you know who the cyber ninjas are, Eric?
So I'm so sorry right now. I am. My internet is failing. I don't know what to do in this instance. So
Do you know who the cyber ninjas are?
that sounds. I don't know. That sounds interesting. What are cyber ninjas?
So cyber ninjas, apparently based on the Arizona audit, were a bunch of crafty ninjas who were able to go in and change the results of certain votes during the presidential election almost 9 months ago. Arizona is still pushing forward with this push the vote narrative. It's so ridiculous. No one really holds it responsible. These are just public hearings. There's no official capacity for them. It's just garnishing this fake narrative, and it's just a representation of the delusion in our politics. Like, we can't even agree on something that has been known as a fact for 9 months. So I'm just curious to know, like, where do we go from here? Like, what's the situation?
Bro, it's first I'm hearing of it. I don't really know. So I mean, you schooling me on completely.
Nah, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty horrible, but the truth is, like, we have to be able to move past this, and it keeps popping up. But when it pops up in this capacity, we have to be able to say something in the lights of, this is fake news. This is not real. We need to move past it. So
probably fake news. I didn't really hear exactly what it was, but it is probably fake news. I mean, the election, from what they tell us, was the most secure, election that we've ever had. So, I mean, do I believe the government? No. But do I have a reason to disbelieve the government in this instance? No. So, I mean, I'm between a rock and a hard place, and hey, listen. Agendas get pushed no matter what at the end of the day, and the person that they want is going to get it by hook or crook. So, Trump couldn't keep his mouth closed and toe the line and be that guy, so they got him on up out of there and put somebody in who would toe the line.
Well, for that and whatever it's worth, one thing for sure that isn't going in our favor is America is not winning right now. We are sitting one gold medal behind Japan. We have 8 to their 3 and 8 to their 5 for their bronze. Collectively, we have the most medals, but if it ain't gold, it don't really count for nothing. So we are sitting in second place.
Yeah, if you ain't first, you're last.
Pretty much. So like we're trying to get it up there, but we have a segment, Tea with Nafi, who she will kindly be helping us decipher some of this. But we've been taking some L's. The men's basketball team lost to France, which is like ridiculous, and we came second in the gymnastics thing. It's just like I'm not supporting this year's Olympics just because of the mind wrap that is all the BS that's going on. I kind of wish that they would just be more responsible, and I can foresee this Olympics being cursed beyond repair. Like, there's some really bad things going on, but shout out to them firing the music composer because he was like a trash bag dude, and now replacing all the music with like video game from like Nintendo and like video games. So I really enjoy watching the hearing Final Fantasy music play in the background. I don't know, Eric, what you think about this?
I want to hear Final Fantasy music.
Yeah.
I want to hear Legend of Zelda music. Really, let's just be Ocarina of Time. Just play that in the background. I'm Gucci.
No, really, no, absolutely. Let's see, what do we have here? And then that's actually for Nafi. Eric, how many ways do you think a subarachnoid hemorrhaging can happen?
How many ways do I think what?
Subarachnoid hemorrhaging.
1 out of every 10,000.
Well, what do you think is the chances of you being a right-handed individual who was masturbating when it happened?
one in a one in a million.
Well, this is the first recorded story of someone masturbating and having a brain bleed, which is what it is, basically a stroke. It's pretty amazing how this happened and how we even came to understand this situation. He talked about having a thunderclapping headache after discharging his situation.
His man juice.
And I'm find this to be interesting because this is actually one of the first recorded stories, but this also let me down like a black hole of seeing how many ways people have died during sex, and it seems to be one common identifier. If you are cheating when you're having sex, there's a strong likelihood you're going to die, and that's what I learned through this story. The next story right here is all about being caught in 4K. There's been a lot of flooding and like destruction happening on across the pond, and this story kind of solidifies that for me. This lady, this news reporter, was out in the destruction, and in a moment of like panic, I guess, or like disarray, she dropped to the floor to start putting mud and dirt on herself to seem more dirty. And I was just so baffled by this because who really cared about this? And furthermore, like, why do you feel the need to, I guess, flex that you are like dirty when you're not? Like, I was so confused by this. I don't know. What do you think?
It's just a desperate thing people do to appear like they have had more happen to them, so they can make up some fantastical story. Especially, bro, when people ain't around. It's real easy to say, "Oh my God, this is such a horrific situation." They didn't experience any real trauma. They just happen to be in proximity, and then I wrinkle up my clothes. I roll around in the dirt like a dog. You ever seen a dog go and roll in the dirt? Is probably what she did, and then she got up and just went to the. Oh my God! It was so traumatic. It was so horrific. Lies, attention seeking. I just seeking is not the word I wanted to use, but I know what I mean. Attention seeking.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know like what was like the real reason behind it, but I just find it to be her situation to be kind of strange. And I mean, the level of desperation in this story was just too much for me. But we do have, for what you want to call it, justice. The Atlanta spa shooting suspect from early on in this year, he was found guilty of murder charges and will spend the rest of his life in jail without parole. I don't think that's punishment enough. We lost 8 beautiful people because of this dude's weird fixation. And like this, it's just too many people have to come to terms with that. I don't know, Eric. What do you think?
Murder is typically not a good thing. I don't support it usually, and these are innocent people. I mean, you having some kind of, for lack of a better term, hard on for these human beings who really, in the grand scheme of things, did nothing to you. I mean, and you're just going out being violent for the sake of being angry at a overall group of people. You're still not actually directing the anger in the place that it's supposed to go. And I don't know, bro. It's just weird to me that people lump everybody in a group that's looks like they belong into a group, and then takes out the anger for a few individual interactions that they find to be negative out on the entirety of the group. But this isn't the first time in history we've seen something like that, bro. So I can't be surprised. Just thankfully, no more people were killed in this. It's a tragedy that these people had to die for some lunatic, but anyway.
Trash bag individual. But with some good news, we have a man who is dressed up like a life-size teddy bear, and he is walking from Los Angeles to San Francisco. But I'm really confused how he's doing this because he's in Arizona right now. So I don't know how he made that type of detour. But I'm assuming he's taking a national walk path. So he went to go see the Grand Canyon. But there's a few questions I have here. He's a Japanese dude, one thing. But like on top of that, I don't want to know what that thing smells like. He's doing this in the most unbearable situation. He's doing it to raise money for what? I don't know, but damn it, I hope he makes. He's actually hit one of his goals. He had a simple goal of $15,000. He blew that out of the water in the first week. But I don't know if whatever his new goal is or whatever he's raising money for is worth it, because heat stroke, death, famine, like there's so many things that could go wrong while he's out there. But kudos to him for stepping out into the light, so to speak, for a great cause. You don't have to ask for minimum wage from Congress anymore, because literally people aren't coming back to work without negotiating getting $15 starting. And this is really amazing to see in real time, because what you're seeing is the evolution of people's ability to advocate for themselves. $15 minimum wage is no longer a debate if it's possible. It's literally the standard for getting people to even interview at your job. A lot of the Indeed posts have been coming up where people have all of a sudden miraculously have this epiphany that, oh, paying people $15 isn't an issue. It just speaks to like the evolution of advocating for yourself, and that paying workers not even really a living wage by today's standard, but paying workers more isn't the issue of, oh, it's going to hurt the company. It's the issue of it's not enough. It's ridiculous to pay them anything less than that. So I don't know, Eric, what's your thoughts on this?
Get rid of the minimum wage altogether. You already know what my thoughts are. I think the minimum wage is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I know people be like, "Oh, they're crazy." I was like, "This. It's really quite simple. If there's no minimum wage, people actually could have done this a long time ago. Now, it's about actual skills. But the people in this country who benefit the most from no minimum wage are those who have the least skills, because they will work for the least, and it gives them the opportunity to get skills. $15 an hour, dude. We've already seen some businesses close. There's going to be a lot of business close. So a lot of them are going to close, and a lot of these people who are wanting $15 an hour, $20 an hour to sit at home and have a subarachnoid hemorrhage and a thunderclap headache are going to be wondering why they can't find work. I was like, because these people can't afford to pay you $15 an hour. So, I mean, if they got rid of those federal payroll taxes, then they might be able to afford to pay people $15 an hour. The government's is irresponsible, it's inefficient, it's inadequate, and it's just plain out greedy and stupid. So we fix that problem, we might be able to get these people what they want.
Well, we'll see what happens with that, but I'm happy to see people advocating for themselves ultimately. Conservative news talk radio host who was really skeptical about getting the vaccine has obviously, because we live in a paradox universe, contracted COVID and had a ventilator and was on a ventilator, I believe, and he's recovering, thankfully, but he's in bad shape still, but he is recovering. But it just speaks to the situation this man found himself in. He is now coming out clearly, hopefully, thank God, speaking to people getting the vaccine, and that it's not a hoax, it's not this, it's not that. I think we're just going to keep putting stories like this in the news until people it just dawns on people like, yo, like how many people you got to see like this, how many more stats you need to prove that this is not not some like underwriting ghost scheme thing. And even if it is, like, we take Cialis, and the side effects for Cialis is explosive diarrhea. So like, if you can live with that, this is not a hard bone to bargain with. But Eric, I don't know, what's your thoughts on this guy coming to terms with his coming to life situation? All right. Yeah, we were having too many difficulties with the internet setup and everything. Eric definitely tried for us, so shout out to Eric for hopping on, trying to make it work with us. But just to give you guys a little bit better quality of the show, because like our timing and everything was off. But you guys send hearts in the chat for Eric. We love you. We missed you. And we want some more of you. Haha. But yeah, this will hopefully make things smooth, like skid a little bit better. So let me get my post show back up real quick, and we'll have we'll have Eric in the chat with us. But yeah, put some hearts in the chat for Eric. We appreciate you. We appreciate you trying to. Nafi, if Nafi was a real booth boss, she would have been prepared to be like, okay, I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to back up. I'm ready to go. That's what it would have been ample, but we know we're not gonna judge her. But yeah, this fuck twat is not able to get on and be productive and do things within our society because he decided to call COVID a hoax. But lo and behold, he caught it. He learned from his mistakes. Oh, okay. Now, if you say you ready, then get into Discord, fool. And we'll bring you on. But we'll bring you on for your segment. I'll just finish this up. I only got like 3 more stories. All right. I just want to tell you guys that Lil Nas X is making grown men who I call little boys in this situation very uncomfortable. It's crazy to me that Lil Nas X successfully continues to like goat people into falling into his bullshit line of thinking, and regardless of how you feel about my man's, the guy's a marketing genius, but now because of like people not being able to control themselves or like even harness like the situation that they find themselves with this guy, like we're now in a situation where this dude is basically like causing this mental fracture break in people where they have to acknowledge or try and figure out when did they become like what was that like when did people figure out that they were like straight? Like this is a ongoing question that people have been asking like all day, and I think it's crazy because it's like it's a great question, it's a great mind stumper, but like someone would be like, yeah, he's pushing a gay agenda. And it's just like, okay, so when do you think that, when did you find out you were straight? Or like, can you decide to be gay or straight? And they'll be like, oh, it's a decision. It's like, okay, cool. So when did you figure out that you were straight? And these people literally freeze up because they can't, because that's not how it works. It's not practical. And I love these examples, but it still doesn't help alleviate the pressure, unwarranted pressure that this guy's getting for absolutely nothing. And I think like a percentage of his funds from this goes to helping our horrific prison system. So he's like doing good, and people just, there's no satisfying people. But from one sexual accusation to another, Activision Blizzard employees have all signed like a petition that is now over 2,000 people. This story was updated in real time. But basically, for all you guys that don't know, Activision Blizzard is a gaming studio. They make games, they make servers, and like some of them like WoW, and like a bunch of games that I don't really play. But they're a big conglomerate, and they definitely like hold a lot of power in the gaming world. But they had this very toxic culture that was definitely causing people strife, to the extent where a woman committed suicide because she felt like, yo, she couldn't express herself. A nude picture of her was being shared amongst her coworkers during a holiday party. And a lot of people are saying that was during BlizzCon. And BlizzCon is where fans are involved. So that means fans were actually seeing this employee probably. And she ended up committing suicide. This story dives so much deeper because news stories are coming out talking about how some males experienced sexual harassment where they were goaded into trying to kiss another employee, trying to see who's the first one to quit in order to avoid being sent home for the day or something like that. So it's like a pretty toxic culture from the top down. And whenever you see things like this, it just makes you frown because this helps nobody. The games don't get made, the people don't get paid, and this is just going to have Activision's response has been so poor that it's led to more outrage. Like, to have such a poor response to a bad situation just doesn't help your case. So, I mean, we definitely hope to see some big heads get knocked off, and hopefully a redistribution and balance of power within this whole entire industry. Something else that is super interesting to me that I just can't believe is that this fucktwat of an officer throwing something into a person's car during a police procedure. And this story came out originally. If you only got the first half of the story, what you saw is an officer throw a bag into a young black teenager's car. Then after that, you saw an escalation of the situation. But I just want to let you guys know that the narrative of this story has been completely overrun by the news media, in the sense that they calling this a corner bag. It's a sandwich bag. It's not a drug bag. In America, we don't sell drug bags. So when you change the name of something to fit a narrative, you are being racist. You are being part of the problem. And for them to call this a corner bag or all of that is irrelevant. It's literally just, it was a bag full of food, and he just didn't want to litter. That's literally why he didn't throw it on the floor and he put it in his pocket. And these officers tried to frame the situation. They're scumbags like no other. You have to really understand how troubling this is, because this officer, during a stop where they're investigating and trying to find a reason to search the vehicle, threw something that was in someone's pocket into a vehicle. That is not how our procedures go. Furthermore, touching evidence without gloves or anything like that is not how procedures should go. So their whole story was broken from the moment I saw it, and I just used this whole entire story as a teaching moment for myself, that you don't trust anything the police say or do. Film them every chance you get. Don't let them intimidate you, because that footage could literally be the thing that sets you free. They were only let off with the citation for speeding and no other citations. That's how powerful this video was, because they would have definitely drugged these people through the mud otherwise. So I'm happy to see, these kids made it out alive. How are you? We talked about this last week, but I want to bring this up again because it's further proof to me that if you're a millennial right now, I think ages like 38 to 25 right now. I'm not sure if that's the millennial gap, but if you're a millennial and if you're more like me in the like middle to older part, you have lost friends, but you are okay with that. But a lot of your lost friends came from political discourse. 22% of Americans are losing friends because of political discourse. Like, this is something that a president has never held power to. Because of Donald Trump, more people have hit unfriend on Facebook, and that's sad to me, that orange Oompa Loompa could do so much. And it's crazy to me that we don't have a way of identifying this or coming to terms with this. And I just think that because of the vaccines and things like that and the COVID talk, this number will continue to drop. I think the more connected abilities we have, the less engaged we are, and that's kind of sad. And finally, in our quickie segment, a Florida man, no less, tried to go from Florida to New York in this contraption. And it might look like one of those crawfish seafood catchers from Louisiana. No, this is actually like a 6x7 or 13 tubular device that he used, that he would basically walk in and those pedals would push him forward. He tested this on a lake and then said, okay, cool, I'm ready for the next level. I'm ready to go to the next stage. And I'm just really confused why he thought he was going to make it all the way to New York during hurricane season and make it in this contraption nonetheless. He got completely turned around and was heading towards the Bahamas. He was recovered by the Coast Guard. People were really baffled whether to press charges on him. He clearly needed assistance, but he forced people to go out there. And I think you need to take this contraption away from him so he doesn't try this again. But he claimed that he was raising money for the fire department, police department, Coast Guard, and the Army veterans. And I don't know he had no charity pages up. I think he was just trying to get out of getting ticketed for not having his flotation device properly marked. But please, guys, don't be this don't be this dude, all right? And I don't know. It's crazy out there. So please take care of yourself. Do something constructive. Not this constructive. Be a little bit less constructive. But you can start off by helping us out. A like, share, subscribe is a nice way to get our week started. We are a small portion of the people who try to identify with you as you identify us. That's what the identity booth is all about. We're up and coming YouTube channel, up and coming Twitch channel. We're live streaming. I think we do a pretty immaculate job. I think, we try and get things set up. But when things don't go our way, we try our best to make things work for you guys. So I appreciate y'all being here with us, always engaging, always setting up shop, always making sure that, we are available to you guys. But you can find us on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I said Facebook already. Anchor, Spotify, Twitch. No, not Twitch. What's the one? iTunes. We're everywhere like Visa, as Eric likes to say. If you're interested in helping us out, you can subscribe to the channel on YouTube. That'll get you guys all our emojis and all our cool things. That'll get you guys all set up and things like that. We're on every major platform. We appreciate your support constantly. It helps out tremendously, and those are the things that keep people highly engaged, highly motivated, and of that nature. But if there's something we missed in the things we forgot to tell you last week's segment, don't hesitate to reach out and give us feedback on that. We love to engage with you. We got a bunch of people in the chats this past week, so we definitely appreciate that. You guys take care of yourselves. You got the mess.
But it's so hard to find through the daily grind. Been working